What's up, YouTube? We are back with another video. We got Carlton. Carlton is our SEO and GEO expert. Carlton's been doing this stuff for, I don't know, Carlton, 15 years now.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, he's a killer, one of the best I've ever seen. And today's topic is something that I think is top of everyone's mind who's trying to win online. We're talking about how to rank in LLMs like ChatGPT, but simultaneously be able to rank in Google searches because they're two pieces of a puzzle now. And as the space evolves, being able to show up in both is super important. So, Carlton, I'll turn it over to you to start, educating us, and yeah, we'll go from there.
So bottom line, ranking on Google and ranking on AI search is 90% the same. That 10% difference is going to decide whether or not you get cited on LLMs frequently or get ignored. So core points, AI ranks answers and sources, where Google ranks pages. So AI is going to pull from search engines to get the content that they want to rank. The content that's ranking on the top of search engines is typically going to get cited more often on LLMs. Now, there's a specific type of content that ranks really well on LLMs. This is list posts. Because LLMs currently are not that great at understanding, when you rank yourself in a list post for the 10 best SEO softwares, LLMs will see you at the top of that list and then decide that you are the best SEO software, to put it in layman terms. Cool. So what we're going to go through in this video are 10 strategies that will help you improve your current SEO and help your brand also start ranking in LLMs.
Let's see it, man. I'm super excited to check this out.
Yeah, awesome. Let's do it. So let's go ahead and start where SEO and GEO, Generative Engine Optimization, are the same. For all of my time doing SEO, the last 14, 15 years, we've heard that content is king, backlinks are queen, right? We call it content and links. That's still true, right? So backlinks still matter, content still king, authority is still required. LLMs don't just magically invent truth. They rely on the same internet that we've always used. They just compress that information and re-rank it. The key difference is that Google, again, is going to rank pages. AIs rank entities, and they list in a hierarchy. So, we've all used ChatGPT by now. ChatGPT loves to use bullet point lists, numbered lists, right? And that's the same way it likes information to be structured on your website. So let's talk about the first tip, which is going to be answer first, expand second. So give answers immediately in the above the fold of your content. It's going to be in the first few sentences, the first few paragraphs. Answer the main question people are looking for, as well as LLMs. Now, further down your content, let's say you're writing a blog post that has 10 headings or 10 sections. Each section is its own blog post, right? It's its own piece of content where you need to follow that same rule where you're answering the main question of that heading first and then explaining later. So follow that structure for each heading in your content, whether it's a blog post, a service page, collection page, or product page. Number two is to use question-based headings. So structure your content like how people are actually asking LLMs as well as Google search. So the great thing about LLMs is people can make really, really in-depth searches. So instead of just searching for, let's say, a blue raincoat, people can search for a blue raincoat that's good in the wind, but it's also going to be able to fit me and my wife, who's much smaller than me. It's also stylish, but it's also going to last a very long time, right? Typically, Google search isn't able to find products that match all of those different requirements, but LLMs can, and they can often better answer question-based queries like that. So you want to make sure that you're answering every question on in your content, as well as including, again, all the different entities. So for an e-commerce brand, this would be the different what we call attributes of your product. This is color, this is size, this is durability, all the different features, material. You have to make sure you're super in depth with what those entities or attributes are with your content. For a local business, that's your service area. That might be the materials that you guys use in your, when you paint, for example, paint a roof or a house, not paint a roof, but paint an exterior, right? So you have to be really, really in depth with everything you do within your business process to deliver your products or services. On topic number one, where you answer first and expand second, we like to use 40 to 60 word summaries at the top of our content for everything. This is what AI is going to rely on mainly, is just a really short, condensed summary. Number four, turn everything into lists. So have lists. Anytime you can break things down into bullet points, numbered lists, this is always going to help the reader better read your content. People prefer to have, short paragraphs, bullet point lists. Those are easier to read. But LLMs really like numbered lists, the number one software, the number two software, three, four, and five. That's really what they're referencing when it comes to ranking who should be where, right? The more times that your brand is mentioned as the number one thing in your niche in as many different places, citations or backlinks, the more likely you are to be referenced number one in LLMs as well. That's a good segue into number five, which is to create best, top, or comparison content. So you should be taking all of your competitors and creating a you versus competitor blog post. And you should be creating a top 10 post for your niche for all the best top 10 XYZ in your area. So right here, we're looking at an example of a list post from a client of ours called Mary Grove Awnings. This post is the top awning company in Ohio for smart outdoor shade. So right off the bat, you see how descriptive that title is. The top awning company, location, Ohio, feature attribute, smart outdoor shade. In the above the fold, we're calling out exactly what they should go with the brand they should go with, which of course is our own Mary Grove Awning. We talk about why. We have bullet points for why they are the best. Then as we go into it, we have really in-depth information about why Ohio weather demands better awnings. What this is going to help us do is rank for long tail searches like best awning for winter in Ohio, best awning that thaws, properly in the springtime, best awning for wind gusts, for coverage during all seasons, heat, so on and so forth. Then we have ourselves ranked number one in this blog post. We talk about why you want to avoid cheap awning companies. And then as we scroll down, then we have the other companies listed. So Sunset or Alvotech, Sunesta. Don't be afraid to mention your competitors. Of course, just follow any specific legal guidelines that apply for your industry. But that's not going to affect your rankings negatively or impact their rankings positively. It's actually going to help LLMs establish direct connections, a knowledge graph, if you will. That's the common term in SEO is a knowledge graph. That's what LLMs and Google search builds to understand the connections between different businesses and different industries. So I'll give you an example of the knowledge graph and how search engines are able to distinguish between two different entities. So take the word dolphins. You have the actual dolphins in the ocean, but then you also have the NFL team dolphins, right? Search engines and LLMs have to distinguish between the difference, right? So if somebody looks up Dolphins quarterback, you don't want Google search to show you an image of a dolphin throwing a football, right? So it's a silly example, but it really shows how much technology has to go behind search engines and LLMs. There's millions of examples similar to the one I just shared. And they need all the information they can get to properly understand the context of our awning company and who their competitors are. And if we're the first and the best to help them do that, they're going to prefer our content. More importantly, LLMs, they are going to take your word for it if they establish you as the authority. So you can say, oh, I don't really feel like this is ethical, but it's how LLMs work is if you tell an LLM you are the best, which, true ethics, if you believe you're the best, then say that you're the best, right? Of course, with how legal that is, right? I think that's perfectly ethical to say, hey, our company is the best. Here's why we're the best. And then put that into a list post. LLMs are going to use that to rank you as number one for whatever that you're providing. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. And I did have a question about this, Carlton, specifically like
Sure.
what's to stop somebody from like having the worst product in the world and then just saying they're the best? Is that like does an LLM like take into consideration like third-party review platforms like Trustpilot or something like that? How does it like distinguish that?
Yeah, that's 100% true, Brandon. It's a great call out. So, yeah, LLMs and search engines, for as long as they've been around, have had to have a review filter that their computer, their engines use to make sure that they're avoiding that from happening. So yeah, LLMs and search engines have to have a filtering process to be able to understand and make sure they avoid bad actors in the market. So as you said, Brandon, for a local business, they're going to use like Home Advisor, Yelp to see their third-party reviews. They'll use Facebook, different review platforms to understand if you're credible or not. For online store, it might be Trustpilot, it might be the reviews on your website. But the more third-party validation you have, the better. Cool. So yeah, great question again, Brandon. That actually segues into point number 6, which is building topical authority. So you just can't create content. Remember, again, it's content and links, content and backlinks. You don't just rank for keywords anymore. That's really what topical authority means. You rank as an entity in a topic graph. So an example of this would be trying to rank for the keyword "what is an awning." But there's probably dozens of different keywords that are part of that what is an awning topic. For example, what's the difference between an awning and a canopy? The difference between an awning and a pergola? awnings for camping versus awnings for homes, right? Awnings for an RV versus an awning for a house. Are awnings durable in the winter? There's thousands of different questions that people will ask surrounding an awning, and that all gets compiled into the knowledge graph. So it really doesn't serve your brand to write a few pieces of content around a specific topic. The brands that are going to rank the best are going to be brands that completely cover the entire knowledge graph for a specific topic. So that's actually how you build topical authority content, completely covering a topic once you identify it. And then number two is being cited as the authority for that topic or with your products and services on third-party review sites.
Dude, you're dropping knowledge bombs on us. What is number 7? Let's keep going.
Yeah, let's keep it going, man. Number 7 is going to be use tables for structured data. So tables are easy extraction for AI. So don't be afraid to use tables, data, infographics, structured information for LLMs to understand your content. Number 8 is going to be to add FAQs and schema. It's going to help both Google and AI understand your content. Number 9, this is a slight difference between Google search and LLMs, is that LLMs, I believe, are a lot better at understanding the context of brand mentions. So typically for SEO, you want to backlink another website linking to your site, but for LLMs, being mentioned is sometimes can be good enough. So the more times you're mentioned, the better. You still want links, obviously, but mentions can be good enough as well. Number 10 is to keep content fresh and up to date. AI prefers, and all search engines prefer recent and reliable sources. So always keep refreshing your content, whether you're talking about your own products and services or just talking about industry related news topics. Be the first to share that, be the most in depth to share that, and don't be afraid to go back to older content to refresh it instead of just creating new content as well.
Carlton, I'm always surprised when we have these conversations because it's just such a like in my face reminder that there is so much that goes into this. And I feel
Mhm.
like on the surface, you take one of those points. It's like, okay, yeah, maybe it's not that hard. But when you start to add all these things on top of it, and then the consistency of, consistently updating your website, making sure everything follows these guidelines, it's a lot, dude. What's like
Yeah.
one, like, how does like a business owner, like, how do they wrap their head around all this? How do they do this effectively?
Yeah, that's a great question, Brandon. So we always try to use really simple frameworks, simple 1, 2, 3 formulas to help our clients understand what we're doing and why, and then also help our team actually execute. So if I were to create a framework off the top of my head on how you can rank in SEO and LLMs, number 1 is to be super clear on who your target market is and what they're searching on Google and LLMs. What are the questions they're asking? What are the solutions they're looking for that your products and services can solve? Number 1. Number 2 is create as many pages as you can that can rank for all those different searches and questions people are asking. So for a local business, that's going to be service pages and location pages. For an e-commerce company, that's going to be creating collection pages and product pages. Refer back actually to one of the first videos we created, Brandon, about SEO. It's a series of videos on how to do keyword research for different types of brands. I believe we did local e-commerce and just a couple different verticals, how to do their keyword research. That same methodology is going to apply to what pages you need to create for your website. Number 3 is create those pages, the design, make sure it matches the intent of those searches. Make sure people are getting the information they need in the above the fold. If it's an informational search like what is an awning, make sure you answer that in the above the fold. If it's an informational search a commercial transactional search about the best awning companies, make sure you share that in the above the fold with the reasoning. If it's a search branded for your company, maybe Mary Grove awnings reviews, make sure you have a page that shows your reviews and gives people what they're looking for in the above the fold section. So number 1, understand what people are searching for, keyword research. Number 2, create pages that match that search intent. And then number 3, make sure the above the fold gives people and LLMs exactly the information they need to make a decision or cite your website.
Okay, that's great information, dude. I'll finish with this. Thank you, Carlton. Appreciate you, dropping knowledge and sharing everything you did today. If you are an e-commerce business, a local business, a coach, anybody who has a website, pretty much, and this all sounds super intimidating, and you need help, I encourage you to book a call with us. We do comprehensive audits for our potential clients before working with you. With the goal of that is to just ensure that if we're going to collaborate, that we have a solid plan of attack, and we can actually, and we know that we can actually help you. So grab a call, talk to one of our team members, and we'll be happy to help you. But I'll finish with like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.